Hey guys, I'm BoredGamer and welcome to some more Star Citizen. I wanted to talk a little bit about the sneak peek, or what is now known as Fast Forward, that we saw on last week's ATV, Season 2, Episode 31. This was the design prototype for some of the piping system and low-level mechanics for stations and bases and ships, and amongst other things. It shows the general idea for power distribution, braking, like control consoles, alarms, security requirements, pressure, airlocks, and decompression. So in the video, we can see the player turn on and off the lights to start with, and then shoot the controller, which activates an alarm, and then also turns off the lights as well. The character then runs to the shields button, and that activates the blast shutters, but doesn't have the correct security level. So because he's in a testing environment, he artificially raises his security level and then operates it, which closes the blast shutters. We then see him destroy an electric door control, and then there's a bypass next to it, a manual bypass, which you'd have to pump if you then wanted to open the door if it's destroyed. The alternative there is to repair the panel, which he then does. Then we will then see what I think is a test turret mounted on a ceiling, either damaged or EMP'd. That then fires at the player after it's EMP'd or after it's repaired or whatever. I can't really work out what's happening there. I think we then see an EMP or electric effect on the floor. At the end of the video, or towards the end of the video, we see the most awesome thing though. So the player shoots the glass on the station here, and after a couple of seconds it breaks under stress or pressure or something. The room then depressurizes and sucks all the objects out of the hole while the shutter is attempting to close. There is a room pressure number at the top of the screen, which falls once the shutter is starting to close, once the glass is broken, but then rise again once the shutter is closed, which suggests to me that room pressure is totally going to be a proper thing, or at least at the moment is planned to be. At the very end, we see a quick flash of a screen that shows life support system that can be turned on and off in a certain area. Obviously, all of this is very prototypey, hasn't been textured. It's all just like stock textures and stock screens and that sort of stuff. But it's that decompression and pressure that we saw just before the end that really excited me. Now, these are just super early prototypes of how they're thinking things might work at the moment. And these will change. But the direction that they're going in and they're considering, like the levels of pressure in a room, I love the fact that number dropped when it was depressurizing. I think that's awesome. I think if they're going to have different pressure levels, you could be in a partially pressurized area that gets further damaged or gets damaged and have to think fast or be sucked out into space. I love that kind of idea. I think that's going to be amazing. Pirates could target your cargo bay and try and make a small hole to try and flush out your cargo. I'm assuming that pressure and that sort of stuff will all be part of the life support systems on ship, and that is just my assumption. It's going to be interesting to see how life support in general works as well. How many people can they support? What if you're over the limits of those people? Do you start losing oxygen? Do you start losing other functions? Are boarding parties affected by life support? I expect they would be, and they'd have to wear full suits or armour or risk suffocation. It looks like we might be able to turn off life support systems too, and this could make for some really interesting gameplay. Now, this is obviously me assuming a lot of stuff by these screens and by what CIG have thought in the past, and we know that Star Citizen's going to go in the direction that it wants to go in, whatever's fun, easy, simple, well, not overly complex mechanics. So we'll have to see what they can fit in there, but I love the direction it's going. So the whole Fast Forward in general, we're seeing there a working prototype for the piping system and for some of the life support. Even it's just in that untextured test environment, it's still pretty cool. And this was just part one. In part two, apparently we're going to be seeing hacking and some sort of mechanics that will be in Squadron 42. This piping system, though, is integral for Star Citizen and will come in a lot of forms, not just power buttons and the power that will turn on lights, but how all systems will interact with each other as a whole, how power and other resources are distributed around ships and stations, so that components and systems get what they need, get the right flow of resources, and how that flow is distributed or disrupted. But anyway, what do you think of this? I know it's super early, and we're used to kind of seeing super pretty stuff in Star Citizen on pretty ships, and this was just a test environment, but Are you excited about the explosive decompressions, the item system 2.0, the piping system? Tell me in the comments below. Also, remember this month, if you comment on any of my Star Citizen content during May, you have a chance to win a Misc Prospector. That's that mining ship. Woo! That's my way of saying thank you. Just make sure you've got a Star Citizen account. Don't even need to be subscribed to me, although that would be appreciated, because obviously this is the way that I'm trying to expand my channel with cheap giveaway tactics. Anyway, please don't forget to like and subscribe, guys. It really genuinely does help me. You guys are awesome and great, and thank you for all the kind messages. Oh, your support's just immense. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I will see you in the verse.